Hello everyone, it's me again. Welcome to another video. This time I'm going to be talking about Fallout. Now, if you've seen my only two videos I've posted, one of my Fallout Equestria audition and the other one of my friend's Fallout Equestria audition, then you'll probably get a general idea that I like Fallout. Actually, funnily enough, it was Fallout Equestria that got me into Fallout, because initially I looked up Fallout, thought, oh, it looks alright, on the internet, and then I just looked up all the games, and then I read Fallout Equestria because I heard about it after becoming a brony, and then thinking, oh, that looks good, crossover fanfic, and I heard good reviews, so I read it, and it's one of the best pieces of literature I've ever read, or possibly even the best. I mean, it keeps me, I love it, it's brilliant, and my friend had Fallout 3 and he said, oh, well, I don't really like it, I don't want it, you can have it, so I played Fallout 3 and now I'm addicted. So, I've become more and more obsessed with Fallout, and here's some, well, good news for some Fallout fans. There could be a new game, slightly, not Fallout 4, which will be produced by Bethesda, I think they're still going on with the main Fallout franchise, but there's a spin-off, possible spin-off, which I would really love to see. It's an idea mentioned by J.E. Sawyer, which is I think he's a lead designer for Obsidian, and he said he'd love to do that. Now, for everyone who doesn't really know much about Fallout, basically it's if you're a fan of Fallout, then you'll probably know all about the Fallout universe and the history. Basically, sometime in history after World War II, between 1945 and 1960, I think, our timeline diverged. So instead of going like the Vietnam War and then things like that progressing, and then the collapse of the Soviet Union, something changed, and it was very different. It's a very different timeline. So technology was progressed at a much faster rate. Things like the transistor were never invented, and things like vacuum tubes became the cornerstones of technology. And so you had this 1950s style technology in advanced, like 1950s, sort of what the 1950s would imagine. People from the 1950s would imagine the future to be like, robots and laser guns and space travel, I guess. And they've got all of that along, 1950s technology, like, wireless radios and that, alongside laser guns and futuristic technology, but in a 1950s style. So it's less efficient than our modern technology, but more advanced. So it's bigger, bulkier, but, well, more advanced than what we've got. Now, because the world was locked in the 1950s cultural stasis, like American ideals of family and work and capitalism, and then on the other side you had communism. These fears led well into the 21st century, and America became corrupt, and it was ruled by capitalism and military dominance, and essentially this led to war over resources, which isn't really that different from our world, but it led to bigger wars, war between China and America. And anyway, in the end, all the world got involved, and in the end, there was it went to nukes, and the world got destroyed effectively. And then Fallout takes place after the nuclear apocalypse, and the games are basically based around life after that. The role of in each game, it's a different individual, and it's the role of the individual and their place in the wasteland in America, various spots in America, and how they deal with what they find, the crisis, how people survive, sort of culture and life after, the problems that people encounter, different policy, different philosophies, politics, and morals and ethics, and you make choices, and you decide who you think's right or who you want to go with, and then you do that. And of course, there's a canon storyline, but the gameplay allows you to do what you want, be who you want, and it's a brilliant game. Now, that game, Fallout is great. The main storyline is great. The Fallout 1, 2, 3, and all the other role-playing games or whatever. So Fallout Tactics and Brotherhood. Still, I don't know much about them, but They are brilliant games, but they all take place in America, which is fine because America's probably the best one suited for such a setting. With the vaults where people went into the vaults and they survived and then they came out and then they found the wasteland. And then you begin your adventure in the wasteland with super mutants and robots and laser guns and whatever else. But it's all based around American culture and American ideals and American views. What they thought the future would be like. Now that's great, but this game is called, the new game I want to talk about is called Fallout Resource Wars, which is a possible game, and instead of being set in the future after the apocalypse, it's going to be set during the resource wars before the nuclear apocalypse, and it apparently takes place in Europe, Middle East, and it's about you play as the British apparently, which I think makes a really nice change from the sort of varied American characters in the main Fallout franchise. It's going to be more of a first-person shooter, which I think again makes a really nice difference because Fallout is a role-playing game, and that's brilliant because we all enjoy Fallout, don't we? But I think I do enjoy things like Call of Duty and Battlefield. So I think having a Fallout-style first-person shooter, a Fallout set first-person shooter would be amazing. I think it'd be nice if you could have all the guns from the Fallout games, and then add some new ones, add some vehicles, add some, add all of that, and then, make a first-person shooter out of it, but add a Fallout touch, so, I don't know, you have to repair the guns as you go along, sort of thing, but you pick up an enemy gun, and then you can use it to repair your gun, sort of thing, and, so, I don't know, it becomes gradually less accurate the more you fire it, because it's bad condition, or, I don't know, it jams, things like that, and that would be great, because what happens in the Fallout games is it's all American, and that's 1950s. Whilst all countries in the world are led by generally the most advanced country at the time because they all borrow ideas from that country. So, for example, for a long time it was the UK, the British Empire, and the as such. Then it was now it's the Americans really, with like from the 1950s onwards, it's kind of the Americans with their rock and roll and things like that, and while the UK did have still had a big part to play, like the internet, for example. Sorry guys, that wasn't a British invention. Sorry if anyone didn't realise that, and the computer, things like that. So we all contributed, but it focuses on American culture, 1950s American culture, mainly Fallout. I think what it should do now, because it does mention, whilst it does mention occasionally in Fallout other countries, it doesn't really delve into their culture or their history or their backstory or anything about them. So I think it would be great just to have a British sort of viewpoint. I think there should be a storyline. Tell me, anyone tell me if they disagree in the comments, but I think there should be like a storyline, because it says here that Royal Armoured Corps of the British Army becoming stranded in a war-torn everything's anarchy in northern Italy, and they have to fight their way to the English Channel in quickly degrading vehicles, scavenging replacements, fuel and weapons as they go. No, I think that'd be great. I think what they should do, though, maybe they should start in, I don't know, the Middle East, sort of, and then in the 2060s. They should start in the Middle East, perhaps, fighting for oil or whatever else they're fighting for. Then, as the story progresses, they have to sort of pull back, and then they end up having to sort of help out in Italy, and then they find themselves cut off, and then they have to go back. So add a bit more of a storyline to it. And multiplayer perhaps would be, in various locations, and involve a bit more. A bit more dominance-based gameplay. So instead of something like, I'll hold this line, like, I don't know if you've played more linear first-person shooters other than COD and Battlefield and things, where perhaps you had to retreat. Actually, like, that level in Battlefield, the second one, where you have to, where you have to fight your way back to the extraction point. and then you have to hold the line. You get on the Humvee, and then you use, yeah, that sort of thing. I think should be the storyline for the main storyline for this game. And then the multiplayer should be, choose your weapon. You got like the Chinese assault rifle from Fallout 3, and the assault rifle from Fallout 3, and the I don't know laser rifles and laser pistols and that from Fallout 3. And you choose your weapon, and like maybe they should add a few more, like a few British rifles, or a British rifle, or a British submachine gun, a couple of things like that. And then you get different countries, so maybe a French one or an Italian one, and really get it sort of cultural sort of feel to it. So it's not like isolated American gameplay, but more spread, so that everyone sort of all countries get an involvement. And I think that would be really great for the fan base, because I'm British, and I love Fallout, and I'm pretty sure that Fallout's a massive seller in America as well. So I think it'd be nice to acknowledge that, to acknowledge the other countries that love this game, and I'm pretty sure that'd be a good idea. Yeah. So thank you for putting up with my rambling here. If you actually reached this far in the video, well done. So yeah, just leave your thoughts in the comments, and I look forward to seeing how people react to this. And I'd love to see this game in I'd love to see this game in put into development, and I look forward to seeing if it ever comes to anything. So yeah, like this video if you support this idea. And yeah, come on guys, if you like this, let's go and lobby Bethesda for it.